What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. The Dallas Cowboys are working hard to improve, and even though this 2024 season hasn't gone the way we hoped, there's still a lot to talk about. From Mike McCarthy's job security to some serious drama with Micah Parsons and Parsons Diggs, there's no shortage of headlines. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on the latest Cowboys news. Your support keeps us going and helps us bring you the content you love. All right, let's dive into it. It's been a rough season, folks. The Cowboys are sitting at 6-8, and the playoffs are slipping further away. But despite the disappointment, Jerry Jones is still giving head coach Mike McCarthy some credit for holding things together. In a recent interview, Jerry Jones said, "I give them both high grades this year," referring to McCarthy and defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer. Now, considering how the season has played out, this might sound surprising, but let's break it down. The Cowboys started strong in McCarthy's tenure. He won 12 games in each of his first 3 seasons and led the team to the playoffs 3 times. The problem? We never got past the NFC divisional round. And let's not forget, the last time the Cowboys made it to the NFC Championship was way back in 1995. Yeah, it's been that long. This year, injuries have piled up. The biggest blow: losing Dak Prescott in November to a torn hamstring. Since then, Cooper Rush has stepped in and done his best. He's thrown for 1,405 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. But let's be real. This team was built to be a contender, and expectations were sky high. The next few games won't be easy. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on December 22nd, followed by a road game against the red-hot Philadelphia Eagles, who are currently the best team in the NFC. We wrap up the season at home against the Washington Commanders, who are also eyeing the playoffs. So is McCarthy's job safe? His contract is up in a few weeks, and unless we pull off a miracle, he might be coaching his final games in Dallas. The question is, should he get another chance given the circumstances, or is it time for a fresh start? Now, let's talk about the controversy swirling around Micah Parsons and Parsons Diggs. This one's got Cowboys Nation divided. It all started when reports came out suggesting that the Cowboys front office was frustrated with how Parsons Diggs handled his rehab after his ACL injury. They said he didn't attack his workouts with the urgency they expected. That's a pretty strong accusation, and it didn't sit well with Micah Parsons. After Sunday's win, Parsons took to X, formerly Twitter, and fired back saying, "Bull expletive. I'll drop facts one day, just not today. But this bull expletive and a bad narrative they've tried to put on my brother's name." Parsons is standing up for his teammate, and honestly, you've got to love that kind of loyalty. But here's the thing. The Cowboys are making a massive investment in Diggs. In 2023, they signed him to a 5-year, $97 million extension. Since then, Diggs has suffered 2 major injuries to the same knee. That's not just bad luck. It's a real concern for the team. Diggs managed to get back on the field this season, but only played 11 games before being ruled out again, and now he needs more surgery, which could jeopardize his availability for 2025. So who's right here? Is Parsons justified in defending his teammate, or do the Cowboys have a legitimate reason to be worried about their investment? Despite all the drama, the defense has been showing signs of life. Just last week, they racked up 6 sacks and 4 takeaways against the Carolina Panthers. That's the kind of performance we've been waiting for all season. Players like Parsons are still going all out, proving that this team hasn't given up. There's pride on the line, and even if the playoffs are a long shot, the Cowboys are fighting to finish strong. And let's not forget about Mike Zimmer's impact as defensive coordinator. Jerry Jones gave him credit for a reason. Zimmer has brought a level of intensity and strategy that's finally starting to pay off. If the defense can keep this momentum going, it gives us hope for next season, no matter who's coaching. Cowboys fans, buckle up, because the end of the season is going to be a wild ride. After a roller coaster 2024 season that saw us lose 5 games in a row, the Cowboys have managed to bounce back with a 3-1 record in the last 4 games. That's the kind of fight and resilience we've been hoping for. But just when it seems like things are turning around, the football gods have decided to hit us with one of the toughest remaining schedules in the league. According to Tankathon, our remaining schedule ranks as the 4th hardest in the entire NFL. Let's take a look at what's coming up. First up, we've got a clash with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, the Bucs might not be the powerhouse they were a couple of years ago, but they're no pushover. They're in the thick of the NFC South playoff race, and you can bet they'll be coming into this game ready to fight tooth and nail. Quarterback Baker Mayfield has been playing with a chip on his shoulder, and the Bucs' defense, led by guys like Levante David and Antoine Winfield Jr., is still a force to be reckoned with. This is going to be a test for our offense, especially with Dak Prescott still sidelined and Cooper Rush running the show. But here's the thing, the Cowboys have a chance to play spoiler. A win against the Bucs could seriously damage their playoff hopes, and what better way to show the league we're still here than by knocking a playoff contender down a peg. Next up, it doesn't get any easier. We're heading to Philly to take on the Eagles, arguably the best team in the NFC right now. The Eagles have been on an absolute tear, winning 10 games in a row and proving why they're legitimate Super Bowl contenders. This rivalry is always intense, and you know the Eagles would love nothing more than to beat us in front of their home crowd. But let's not forget, the Cowboys have shown they can hang with the best when they play their game. This is a huge opportunity to make a statement. If we can pull off a win in Philly, it'll be a massive confidence boost and a reminder that this team still has that fight. Plus, there's always something special about beating the Eagles. I know you guys agree with me on that. Finally, we wrap up the season at home against the Washington Commanders. Now, the Commanders might not seem as dangerous as the Eagles, but don't be fooled. They're in the playoff hunt too, and a loss to the Cowboys could crush their postseason dreams. The Commanders have been scrappy all year, and their defense, led by Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne, can cause serious problems. This is another game where the Cowboys can play spoiler. And let's face it, there's nothing more satisfying than keeping a division rival out of the playoffs. So what's the takeaway here, Cowboys Nation? The remaining schedule is brutal, no doubt about it. But in a season that hasn't gone the way we wanted, this is a chance to show what we're made of. 3 tough games against playoff-caliber opponents. Bring it on. We've seen this team show life in the last month, and now it's time to take that fight and turn it into something meaningful. Even if we don't make the playoffs, finishing strong and spoiling the postseason hopes of our rivals would be a pretty sweet way to end the year. And who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we pull off a miracle and sneak into the playoffs ourselves. Crazier things have happened in the NFL. So, Cowboys Nation, here's where we stand. Should Mike McCarthy stay or go? Has he done enough to earn another season? Or is it time for a change? What's your take on the Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs situation? Do you side with Parsons in defending his teammate, or do you think the Cowboys have a point? Is the late-season defensive surge a sign of hope for 2025, or is it too little, too late? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is your chance to weigh in on some of the biggest questions facing our team. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Your support means the world to us and helps us keep bringing you the best Cowboys content out there. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys!